Hi, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph video clip. World Tarot Day is celebrated every year on the 25th of May. And I thought that was a perfect opportunity for me to introduce you to some of the tarot decks that I've collected over the years. Now, just before you think that I've gone completely crazy, I need to explain a few things about these to you. First of all, I don't believe in fortune telling, okay? I'm not interested in that in any way, shape, or form. But I love art and I love ways of learning. Now, what these cards do for me is they allow me to see inside my head. So if I look at one of these pictures, I can decide what's happening in my mind by what feelings I have about that picture. And sometimes it helps me a great deal to understand more, especially if these pictures are designed to do that. And that's exactly why I have all of these cards. Now, these cards for me are basically psychological tools to allow me to see how I relate to the world around me and also to understand more and see things from different perspectives. I don't really use these in my learning and teaching practices, but sometimes if I'm having a difficult relationship with a student, they can help me understand why. But I would stress again that I don't use these cards as a way to tell me what's going to happen tomorrow. They simply help me to be in touch with my higher self, whatever definition you want to put on that, and to understand a little bit more about my mind. My mind is certainly a place nobody wants to go alone. So, yeah, it's really good. So let's have a look at some of these. If you're a bit freaked out by tarot, I can completely understand. It's not everyone's cup of tea. But I would stress again, there's nothing supernatural about this. It's a perfectly natural thing. We all can use art in this way. It doesn't have to be tarot. And you can just pull a card and say, wow, how does this make me feel? And on World Tarot Day, there's different ways you can do that. So let's just start with this box over here. So I have in here some cards. These are my favorite ones. Okay, so let me just take those. Now, these are particularly dark, so they allow me to really see what's happening. So if I pull a card at random there, I think there's one that's already sitting up there. I don't know why. And there's others. Let's see what we can see. Let's just go through these. This is a deck called the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. I'm just going to turn these over so you can maybe have a little look at some of the... See, some of them are really dark. Like that one, it's a bit scary. This one, for example, it's a kind of angelic figure with two goblets. And it's very interesting what she's carrying there. Two goblets. She's standing at water. Now, if you study art and symbology, you can uncover all kinds of meanings. But just looking at these cards to say, well, how does this make me feel? If you're not used to them, probably they'll make you feel really uncomfortable, you know. Oh, that's a nasty one. Let's see. Someone hanging upside down there. Little boy on a horse. A woman resting. Yeah, the colors in these are beautiful. You know, you can see the some lovely, lovely cards. This is a nice one. Like, this is the Empress, you know, a woman holding a vial of blood. In occult symbology, these two pillars here are all about the known and unknown, the conscious and subconscious. So if you were to study that, you would get to know these things. But just in looking at that card, I mean, there's all kinds of things there. Let me just give you an example. This woman, if you look very closely, she's actually standing behind a chair. You see the chair there? This here. Yeah, and you can see there she's kind of emerging, she's hiding, and she's coming out there from presumably what was a very man's world. Well, you could see it whatever way you want. And then you have other ones here as well. There's one of a little boy. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, there's loads of colours. Some of them are a bit creepy, like that one, for example. But the more you look at them, the more things you discover in them. This is the strange thing. If you're interested in tarot, this deck is called the Bohemian Gothic Tarot deck. Okay, you can see they're all upside down here in the different order. Oh, that's a dark one. Look, this one here is, you can see a man injecting a woman with a syringe. Now, this is all about mental processes. So, you know, if this card came up for me, if I'm just pulling a card every day, it would make me think about how much I control people rather than let them speak, you know. So they have very simple meanings, at least for me anyway. I do agree that they're a little bit dark sometimes. It's just two little kids there. Frankenstein. So that's all about, you know, what am I creating in my life? I don't mean for my future. I just mean about my thoughts, and how do my thoughts affect other people, and how much am I aware of my thinking, you know? So let's just go over these. This is a lovely one. This is a reflection of a woman on a boat, but if you look closely, the boat, you can see the man rowing the boat there at the edge. This is a Six of Swords. It's a lovely, lovely reflective card. The Hermit, of course, all about what you can do alone. Yeah, they're lovely cards, really. I've had these for years. Yeah, each of these cards has its own individual meaning for me. You know, once you start working with these, you get to know more about your psyche and your feelings. This here is my favorite card of the deck. This is a guy who, he has some kind of injury or psychic wound, you know. You can see he's a bit, if you see this card up close, he's cross-eyed and he's on guard, guarding an old castle which has been deserted for years. I really love the colours in this, you know, with the pink on the top. That's another one. Yeah. So if you're interested in psychology, many psychologists use these. They give you a card. They ask you, you know, what you see in it. and also many psychologists, what they do is before they have a meeting with a client, they just pull a card to see what's happening for them, and also how the the meeting is likely to go. I don't use this all the time, but if I'm particularly worried about a student or how I relate to them, then I'll use these to try to get inside my head and to understand more. So these are one of my tarot decks. Let's see what other ones I have here that I can show you. Let's see now. Yeah, there's some funny ones here, and there's also some really serious ones. Okay, so the ones you've just seen are probably the darkest ones. I have, let's see now what we're going to look at next. Yeah, there's these ones are very good, but again, the symbology in these are all about taking, getting, controlling, and relationships with other people. Now, I use these a lot because I have issues with those kind of things. So they help me to understand more, but they're quite dark. Okay, so I'm not going to show you all of these because some of them are just angry. So let me just pull up a few of these that are quite peaceful looking. Just to kind of show you. I'm not going to show you them on the camera just yet. Okay, so here's one, for example. This guy was on the cover, a very pensive person thinking about life, you know, and reflecting. Here's another one of empowerment. Someone's clearly receiving some kind of power or is being affirmed in some way. That's very relevant, of course, to learning. Yeah, the really powerful one here. This is about an old man who's dead, and you can see the blood there. And there's a young man here who's clearly feeling very sad about that. Now, we don't know if he's the one who killed him, but something definitely there. Now, a lot of these cards really do have blood as a theme, so I'm not going to show you all of these because they're quite scary and dark. But it's well worth a look. If you're into this kind of thing, you can learn so much about your mind and your relationships with other people just by looking at these kinds of things. And they all focus here on archetypes, the vampire archetype. There's one here, you can see a young couple kissing, and there's a man. We don't know if he's walking away or coming towards them. So we don't know if these people have already been attacked by him. But it's a very interesting card. I'm going to leave these cards because they're a bit too dark, I think, to be showing you any more of them. Yeah, what other cards do I generally use? Yeah, well, this is really nice. If you like art, this is the art of Gustave Doré. He was a very famous European artist. So this is another way I'm able to get inside my head, just to make sure that I'm the best person that I can be. So let's just have a look at these. So Gustave Doré always used to draw using pencil. So these are all really Gothic. It's all about angels, shadows, again, kind of pensive moments. So yeah, some very nice pictures. I don't think Gustave Doré was really into this at all, but it's just people realize that art is incredibly powerful for changing our minds. You can see there, there's an angel. There's a few of those. Some of these, I think, are old biblical stories. That was one of Gustave Doer's thing. If you like Paradise Lost, if you've heard of that by maybe from your English, I can't remember who wrote that. Was it Milton did Paradise Lost? I don't remember, but Gustave Doer did the artwork for the original. So, yeah, some lovely pictures there. Very powerful. Yeah, so again, by taking one of these, it really helps you to understand what's happening in your head, especially in a job like mine where I'm meeting people all day. I need to know what's controlling me, what's going on for me. And then I can either use that or dismiss that depending on the type of students that I have. But how I, of course, relate to people is really important. So it's important for me to see that. So you can see there that there's loads of different pictures. Gustave Doré is a very gothic kind of actor. I should say artist, of course. He wasn't an actor. A very gothic kind of artist. So these are lovely cards as well. Yeah, so many things to think about there. Let me just move those out the way. So I don't spend a lot of time doing this every day or working with tarot cards. I basically just lift one pack, take a card that has meaning to me. If I'm honest, probably the first pack I showed you are the ones that I use most. Yeah, this is a nice one that I picked up in a charity shop recently. These are Russian. Now, let me see. I would stress again, okay, that even though these cards talk about gypsies and these things and fortune telling, it's not my thing, okay? For me, it's all about psychology and finding ways of getting inside my head in terms of what these cards show me or teach me about myself. For example, if I look at this one here, a very powerful masculine man, which makes me think about my own masculinity, how I express that, about power. And you can see here, there's many others as well. Let's see. The problem with these cards is they are a little bit flimsy. They're just cardboard, whereas these ones are better quality. They're kind of glossed, So let's see. It's a British policeman there. I don't know why. Let me see that. Maybe he's not British. I'm assuming he's Russian. Yeah, some of these really play on the idea of fortune telling and the mystique, There's an old lady with a pipe. There's a woman, a young virile man. Yeah, very nice cards, very expressive and very emotive, especially, I suppose, if you're from that kind of culture. I like them. They're not my favorites, but I like them. So anything which helps me get inside my head, of course, is very, very good. For more playful days and, things which I'm not taking too seriously, these cards are very good. The Golden Girls. This is based on a TV show from the 1980s, which I love. And they produced a pack of, somebody produced a pack of cards about the characters from the TV show. So you can see there. They're very simple cards and much less harmless than some of the darker ones that I have. Okay, so you can see some of them there. Very nice cards. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I have to say that in many ways, I think that art tarot has been kind of kidnapped. And I say that because it doesn't belong in the hands of fortune tellers and gypsies wearing, scarves and these kind of things. And it also doesn't belong in the psychiatrist's desk asking you what you see in the cards. I think art has its own love and its own beauty, and it does its own thing with regards to your mind. So I think that's a beautiful and wonderful thing. So I don't really like all this mystery about tarot. For me, it's simply a mental process. It's something which helps me get inside my head, and because of that, I can get that thing out of the way in an English class, and also it helps me to understand a little bit more about the dynamics of what's happening in my head. Sometimes what it reveals can even, be a good thing for an English class if there's an energy or power there that's going on. What other ones do I have here? I have ones which were made and created locally about my town, and I agreed to appear in these. So I'm here. Oh, there, there I am. Yeah, the magician. You can see me there with my tools for cooking in one hand, and in the other also. Yeah, looking really mean. So yeah, that's me when I was a bit heavier on a tarot card called the Magician. Hopefully you can see that there. So yeah, these are really interesting. Here I am again. I appeared in this card as the Hierophant. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, these cards are lovely. Yeah, I helped design these, so I'm really grateful. That's me again. This time, you can see I'm sitting there in front of a mirror. Oh, yeah, that was me also. I agreed to be in this one. Yeah. Yeah, they used me as a model, using the word very loosely there. And you can see there's loads of others. Yeah, I think that was taken from a YouTube clip that I made years ago on my channel somewhere when I was living in that area at the time. Yeah, these are very powerful cards. Again, because they're local, they carry with them a different energy. Yeah, so that's some local cards. What other ones do I have here? Yeah, so I have an Italian deck here. I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly, called the Minciati. Let me just have a look at those. These aren't actually, well, they are tarot cards, but they don't follow the usual numbering of tarot. And they're very, very interesting. Let me just move some of these cards back so I can show you this other deck that I have here. Let's see. Right. Yeah, here we are. So let's see what we have. Yeah, so this is the Italian deck that I was telling you about a moment ago. go. And this deck here is called the Minciati Tarot. I never read these kind of books because they're all about fortune telling. I just love these cards because looking at them, you can learn something. You can just ask yourself, what do they bring up for me, you know? So some lovely designs on there, as you can see. Let me just see if I can turn these round the right way. So, yeah, lovely things. Yeah, some really nice cards. A bit more abstract, these ones. So I'm not able to really see so many things on there, but it's the usual tarot symbolism, you know, the cups, knives, or swords as they're called. So I rarely use these because they're a bit more abstract, but they are still quite good, you know. They're kind of harmless, which is what you want. There's nothing worse than finding a really aggressive, angry card like those ones in the vampires. You have to really be trying to understand more about yourself and your character to know what's happening in these. So these are basically very basic psychological tools, you know. There's nothing, I know a lot of people are very superstitious about tarot, but there's nothing to fear. And I would say, go, get yourself a deck. What's maybe unusual in talking about these is because I'm a guy, many men would be rather fearful of these because it's considered something feminine. But when you're looking at your psychology and your mind, it is feminine, whatever way you put it. It's a very passive process, so it has to be that way. Or at least that's what I think. What else can I show you here? Yeah, I've got another deck in this box, but they're really, really dark. I don't want to freak you out with those. Oh yeah, these are quite nice. Oops, that's not very good. Just dropping some of them there. Let's see what we have. So, yeah, you can see that these are Oriental. Okay, so they've got some writing on there, which is, I think, Chinese, no? Some different ones there. You can see there's plenty there. Not really much to see. I mean, there are some images. You'd really have to spend time meditating on them. They don't actually do much for me because, of course, I don't have a lot of Chinese influence in my life. So they don't really hit me, these cards, but they are still very nice. I mean, I wouldn't know, for example, if I saw a dragon, what it's, you know, how to relate to that in my psyche. But still, they're very beautiful. There's one of a woman. Yeah, very nice. Is she a woman? I think so. I'm not sure what she is, but anyway, yeah. So this is a lovely, lovely pack as well. Okay, so what other ones are here that I can tell you about? Well, another really good deck if you're into this kind of thing, and I certainly am, as you can see, as a psychological tool. Please don't be freaked out by these. It's nothing to be afraid of. Some people are very superstitious with them. I'm not at all. For me, it's just a lovely way of getting inside my head. Okay, so, right, these ones are very interesting because they're transparent. So when two cards fall together, what you can do is you can put them on a white background, and then depending on exactly where they fall, they can have different shapes or different meanings. This is the transparent tarot. Let me just see if I can show you these. Yeah, so you've got two cards there, and here I think one of them is upside down, the other one is up. So you can make your own kind of mental ideas about that, your own conclusions. And if we were to put another one on the top there or on the bottom, it adds a very different picture, you know, so that these can be very powerful, especially if you're having trouble understanding what's going on in your head. So yeah, these are great things. Wonderful as a psychological tool. I understand that if you're a guy watching this, you might be a bit freaked by it all, but please don't be, because it's the most natural thing. Okay, and there's another one now we can add, another two. You see, so you can create a whole set of different pictures. And I've got one here that's solid, it's not transparent, that you could use as a background for some of these if it came up. Yeah, so for example, you could lay these on the top. Yeah, so it's very good. I don't actually know what this solid card is. Let me just see if I can read that. Oh, it's just a dummy card. It's not actually a member of the pack, but excellent background that you could use there, huh? Like this. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, so these are the cards I use. I also have some playing cards here, just normal ones, which again, once you really get into this, you can use those as well. And I also have some Pythagoras dice, some normal dice, the plural is die. You can see there, they're different shapes. Yeah, and what you can do is you can also use very basic numerology just to work out what's going inside your head. Now, for people like me who sit on the internet all day talking to people, these tools are really, really important, because I need to go to English classes with a free mind. I don't want to be going there with all this stuff to give that to students. I don't want to be taking with me energies of, you know, past things which are lurking in my head. So these allow me to work with and dispose of things which are going on for me. And yeah, but like I say, if you're new to all of this, there's nothing to be afraid of. And if you're someone who's into fortune telling and that kind of stuff, well, that's your thing. You know, I respect that. It's perfectly fine. It's not my thing. My thing is helping people to grow, helping people to get where they want to be. And I don't think the falling of a card can tell you what that is. It might reveal energy about a situation, or about a situation that's coming up, but it might do other things, but I don't think it tells you much else. It's a very personal thing and should be used very personally. So there we are. Oh, that's a nice one. It's a bear on the back of that. Look. Yeah. So if you are one of these tarot collectors like I am, let me just give you the names. So we started off with the Bohemian Gothic. We went to the Vampire Tarot, which is called the Gothic Tarot of Vampires. Okay, that was these. This one is called the Transparent Universal Tarot. It's this one. The Italian-looking one was called the Mincietti Tarot. The Golden Gauss was the one based on the TV show. And oh yeah, there was the Gustave Doré one, which was the dark artwork, which is now in this pile somewhere. It was very good also. There was another, oh yeah, the Russian one. Yeah, that was this one. It's very, very good. That's a Russian gypsy, which I think is called the, what's that called again? It's something land, but I don't remember. It was done in the English world and then moved to Russia. It wasn't Russian in its origin. I can't remember, but anyway, you'll know it. It's one of the most famous decks there is. Yeah, there's also the playing cards. There's a couple we didn't look at, which is the Tarot of Marseille, which is very basic symbols like this. You know, there's nothing really much to tell you about that. I will open it just so you can have a look at it. Yeah, so you can see there's loads of different things there. There's some designs, some abstract things. But there's also some pictures of people, you know, very basic, very medieval looking. Was that an angel there, was it? Yeah, that's one of the king, for example. So again, that's very common. I've got one here called the Masonic Tarot. Now, this isn't, let me make some space here. My goodness me, I'm drowning in tarot. The Masonic Tarot, again, these all come with instruction booklets about stuff. I'm not really... The first thing I do is remove the instruction booklets or remove the cards from the box. I don't know anything about Masonry. Okay, these are cards which someone in the family bought. They've got little words underneath. So this is, for example, the Emperor, and it just says the Emperor in different languages. You can see him there. I actually thought it was going to be something instructional on the bottom, but it isn't. And you can see it has a board on the back. I don't know anything about Freemasonry, so I'm not able to say what these are supposed to represent. I never use them for psychological work. Oh, there's one with a bit of character, isn't it? Who's he? Oh, I can't read that. Let me see. Oh, the Magician. Yeah, so that's the Masonic Tarot. And then in here also were the ones which had me on there. When I was doing my modeling work, if I can call it that. Yeah. The ones I didn't show you are called the Tarot of the Orishas. But I know for many of you that has major religious implications, and it can be perceived as a little bit dark. So I'm not going to go there with those. Yeah, and that is my collection of tarot cards. I think we've gone through all of them now, haven't we? Yeah, so very good. So I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you are celebrating World Tarot Card Day, then I wish you a wonderful day. Please send me a link to your packs. I'd love to see those. See ya. Bye.